In example 4, we are supposed to sketch the graph of y is equals to 4 over x and y is equals to 12 over x in the same diagram, sketch on the same diagram. And we just use the knowledge that we've just acquired in the previous video. Assuming x is positive for that matter in this particular point, and let's say positive 1 for that matter, when we want to sketch y is equals to 4 over 1, it's 4. But when we want to sketch, we can talk about 4 being there. But when we want to sketch y is equals to 12 over 1, it's 12. So you can see, but the shape of the graph will remain the same, meaning that we have that graph with an asymptote that way, and at the same time we have that graph with another asymptote that way. But I wish to use different color for the 12 one so that we can see clearly the difference between the two. Assuming we have now x being negative, and for this case, negative 1. 4 divided by negative 1 is, let's say, negative 4. Let's say somewhere like there, negative 4. But 12 divided by negative 1 is negative 12. Somewhere there, negative 12. So the same kind of graphs will be repeated with asymptotes very clear, but of course the other one talks of, so the black one, the black is y is equals to 4 over x. And of course the red one is the graph of y is equals to 12 over x. So note the difference and where they appear. And I want us to go to part B and talk about y is equals to negative 1 over x. And in the same set of axes, let us discuss this. When x is positive, and let's talk about positive 1, you realize that negative 1 divided by positive 1 is a negative 1. It's a negative 1. Again, the rule of asymptote holds. Let's go to this one. When x is positive 1, in this case positive 1, like we have considered here, negative 3 divided by positive 1 is a negative 3. So it's going to pass through a point 1, negative 3, which is just below. But the same rule of asymptote hold, so you'll have that graph there. But in this case, let us assume x is negative for that matter, and negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1. So we have y being positive. When x is a negative 1 here, a negative 3 divided by negative 1 is a positive 3. So somewhere here, you find the graph now passing over there. And you can see the black one is the graph of y is equals to negative 1 over x. The red one is the graph of y is equals to minus 3 over x. Note the difference. Let's go to part C. And part C talks about 4 over x squared. Let's have the argument now. 4 divided by x squared, and please note that x squared is never negative. So when x is 1, 4 divided by 1 remains 4, assuming this is 4. But the law of asymptote still holds. Let us talk about when x is negative for that matter. So when x is now negative, negative 1 squared is 1. So 4 divided by 1, it remains the same 4. But remember, this time round, x is negative, so it passes through there. The law of asymptotes holds, but of course now x is negative. And that is that for now, that first graph. Let's talk about the second graph. 10 over x squared, assuming x is 1. So 10 over 1 is way above 4, which is 10. But the law of asymptote, since the law of asymptote still hold, we are going to have a graph that looks like that. A graph that looks like that. When x is a negative, again, negative 1 squared is 1. So 10 over 1 is again a positive y. That means the same kind of graph is shown there. And again, you can see, I don't know whether that is clear. I want to make it as clear as possible. Again, you can see the black graph is the graph of y is equals to 4 over x squared. And the red graph is the graph of y is equals to 10 over x squared. Please note, when x is squared and it is at the denominator, we do not expect negative values of y, because the denominator will always maintain the positive nature. So this is exactly what we've done. Remember, these are the three graphs that are supposed to be displayed as far as example 4 is concerned. Okay?